And we're live. Welcome to Awakening Warriors, guys. Where we talk about life, love, and lessons.
There was one more in there last time, but learning, I think.
Life, love, learning, and lessons. Got a lot of lessons this week, I feel like.
Had a lot of lessons recently.
Yeah.
Well,
A lot of kicking the balls.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like a lot necessarily, but just like big and like long ones. Lengthy ones.
Dude, that's the worst part about wanting growth. Like, you're gonna get kicked in the balls so many times, like it just sucks dick so hard. But like that's the only way you get stronger is you go through the obstacle, right? So
Well, we talked about this on the podcast before, and I mentioned it yesterday. Like, you practice and practice and practice. When things are good, it's easy to do all that. And then when you're in the shit, like, okay, now it's game time. Like, put that practice to actual practical use.
Yeah. And this kind of leads into what we're talking about today. But if you're struggling or you're having challenges in one situation, it might strengthen or weaken other areas of your life. So. Like for us, we've had a lot of quality connection. Like it's not like extremely perfect or anything, but it's like damn good for what our levels are at or normally at. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, for me, what that means is, like, our connection, like, right now, it feels, like, more lighthearted, like, with each other. It feels more, like, supportive. It feels more, like, I think we, like, laugh a lot and have fun a lot and, like, joke around a lot. Not as many triggers. Not as many, like, arguments. Like, we still definitely annoy each other and can get, like, semi-heated from time to time, but, like...
Yeah, but the length of the time is obviously extremely brief.
Yeah.
Like literally what, like an hour at the most, like typically.
Yeah, and even that, because like looking at yesterday morning, I was kind of like in a mood or in a space, and so like for the most of our morning, I was kind of in that like edgy place, but between you and I didn't get heated until like whenever I got heated, and that was even earlier in the day, so that was probably like 8 o'clock in the morning at that point, and we were like mad, or I was like mad and feisty and triggered and whatever for like 10 minutes maybe.
Yeah. So yeah, that's always it's always interesting to look at that type of stuff because like I feel like I'm losing in some areas in life, but I'm winning in others. Like it's nice to have that, and I think that's because I feel like a loser in my legit. Like I'm fucking real talk here.
I know.
I feel like a fucking I don't know. Just I don't know. Yeah, so I feel that way. So like I'm a lot less. I guess you could say like prideful or arrogant or shit like that. So
you have a lot less shit to talk, I feel like.
Oh yeah, I got ton. I fucking get kicked in the balls left and right. What am I gonna do? Sit there and fucking talk about my kick in the balls? Like like I can't. I don't got nothing to say. I only talk shit when I can back it up. So and if I can't back it up, I'm not gonna talk. I'm gonna keep my fucking mouth shut and head down until I can fucking get back on top. And that's just part of life. So I feel like everybody. I just think of like Sean's. Sean's one of our coaches. I think about like Sean's kicking the balls like 75 grand with the fucked up shirts and stuff like that, and like if you're trying to do stuff, you're gonna eventually get kicked in the balls. And it's just part of the thing. Like the only way you're not gonna get kicked in the balls, and by kicked in the balls I mean like something bad happens or perceived bad, because
right, like a deal goes wrong or something falls through or someone doesn't show up or
things just aren't going your way, and that's like a kick in the balls. What was I saying? Where was I going with that?
Sean and his kicking balls.
Oh yeah, and he's just like, okay, what do we gotta do? Let's move on. But like. That's currently what I need to do, and I just need to focus on that stuff. But Go ahead.
That's just interesting too, because we talked about this before, like the different levels. Like looking at your kick in the balls right now is like probably equivalent to like that kick in the balls for him, or where he is at that level.
Probably.
You know what I mean? Like that 75 grand versus like what we're experiencing.
Yeah.
Is probably like equivalent. And like if you can't handle the ones you have now,
how are you gonna handle them later?
Right.
Yeah.
You're not, or the universe just won't give them to you because like you're not even showing me you can handle these ones.
Yeah, and there's so many different angles that we can look at this, because obviously we're specifically talking about relationships in general, or or not even necessarily relationships, just different areas of life, being strengthened or weakened due to certain circumstances. And like for us, our financial situation is putting a lot of good into our romantic situation, I guess, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that like intimate relationship.
Yeah, intimate relationship. There you go. So, I mean, I'm losing here, but I'm winning there. So it's kind of it's a trade off. Every you have to be able to focus in certain areas, because everything that people talk to balance. And like Goggins talks about, like there's no such thing as fucking balance, or even Kevin Trudeau, or there's a lot of people like, you're either that's why probably Goggins has multiple divorces, because his intimate relationships are trash,
Right,
like
he's so focused
his
on
trauma
like,
and everything else. Yeah, he's fit. He's focused on he's the best of the best at what he's in, which is basically just calloused mindset and running those ultras and shit like that. And other side of things have to suffer, so there's no such thing as balance. So then you have your different buckets in life, and if you're focused on the relationship, or not even directly intentionally focusing on the relationship, but it just naturally gets better because of these other things are falling apart, you know what I mean? So,
and I think for me too, thinking about like the bucket situation, like you can still give to all of those buckets like in a season of your life, but it doesn't mean that they're all getting the same amount of you.
For sure. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, 100%. So, I think, I haven't been as much of a dick, you guess you could say, and then you've been a lot less uptight probably because of that. I don't know. What's your side of the experience?
I don't know. Well, earlier before we started recording, you had said, like, you think that you are just like less arrogant and less cocky, and you're like, you were like, I think you're maybe more like understanding, and I was like kind of sitting like thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, I don't know that I'm more understanding necessarily, so that I'm like toning anything down, but I think like just having you tone down a little bit has me less reactive and has me less triggered, which is a me thing clearly, but it just makes it easier for me to like, if you're not.
Your threshold isn't being reached as much. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, so.
Although, and it's interesting too, because when I think about like different areas, like, because you are that way right now, I think, not subdued, that's not a good word, but just like calmer in general, because you are just feeling kind of low. But then like, because that's how you are right now, like thinking about last night, like, I wanted to have music on, and I knew as soon as you walked in the house, like, you were not going to be about it. And, like, I wanted to play games. I never even asked because I knew that you were not in that space. So, like, there's,
that
like...
fucked me up. That was just, like, pissed me off and everything else. It just would have made me worse.
And so, like, that's just interesting, too, to think about just in a human, like, or in a, I don't know if that's, like in a you thing or in a relationship thing, but, like, because you're overall that way, other areas that you normally would show up in aren't happening because... So, like, you're less calm... Or you're more calm, you're less cocky, I'm less triggered, but then that means, like, in this area, we're also not.
Yeah.
Like, dancing around and playing games and...
Yeah, for sure. I think this is, like... Obviously, we've been seeing the numbers a lot. For those of you guys don't know, like, angel numbers and... I don't even know what builder's number is. I think 33 is the master builder number. I think that's what Bryce told me. I've looked it up multiple times, but I always forget. So it's like that's the reason why I like the 33 degree, masonry and shit.
So angel numbers are like repeating numbers, basically. Yeah, 111, 1111, like
222, 444. Like
right. And technically there's, and they show up a lot, and that's the thing too. So like you're seeing these things a lot, but technically there's like angel number books that have like all the numbers combined, and they mean something. So like you could see 437 like over and over and over, and then that can still mean something. But generally speaking, when people think angel numbers, it's more so the like repeating numbers.
Yeah. Yep. From what we were told and understand is basically like when your antenna is finely tuned to God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. So.
Because the universe is speaking, and that's one way that it speaks.
Yeah.
So that's why you're seeing those, because you're like attuned to.
Yeah. Yep. Because everything's frequency, right? So like we're the radio, and we can change our station to whatever we want, and so we can turn it to this, or, oldies or fucking hip hop or whatever, know, and depending on what we're tuned to, that's what we receive. So I know, like, I'm gonna be a better person when I come out of this. But it's just fucking annoying. And I think I'm going to come out... I would have used to say that I'm relatively humble as is. And I don't think I was horrible. I'm not as bad as, like, Sean and a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like, as far as cockiness. I'm not near to that level.
You're not super outward about it. But, like, in our relationship, or just the way you talk, like, with us, you're super cocky.
Yeah.
But you're not super, like, public about it.
I think I'm not flashy and...
Right, I think just with me, obviously, you're, like, comfortable to, like, say those things, so, like, you do, but you would never,
And I think this is, like, the process that I'm going through is a lesson. Like, talk about life, love, and lessons, and learning. I'm learning my lesson.
Well, I just said that earlier, I'm like, everything happens for us, so, like, where's the lesson?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, this whole, all these situations will lead us down different paths, and just is what it is, and I gotta make it through the other side, and this allows me to control my mind. I think it's so interesting, because I'm not only am I, like, trying to be like, alright, just fucking settle down, bud, I'm also, like, naturally more that way now. Like, as of recent. Now, will that last? Will that, come back? Blah, blah, blah. I don't fucking know. But just in this experience, this is the first time I've ever been, like, this, like, I won't even say low. Neutral is what I am. I'm, like, fucking, because I don't really get low. This is the closest I've ever been to low. But I'm definitely just, like, neutral. Like, it's just interesting. I'm either high or I'm neutral, like, there's no low for me at this point in my life. And I've been neutral for a little bit now, and it's just fucking, I don't know, it's annoying. I don't like it at all. Stupid. But it's part of life, right? Because, like, you gotta experience that to experience this, because if this is the only level, then, like, like, there's no, what's the word I'm looking for? Not diversity, but, I don't know. We'll just say variety. Variety in life. Yeah, that's a similar word to what I'm thinking. So, like, you have to, although this is my life, I feel like, is in a very annoying situation in certain buckets. I also realize, but without being in these situations in my certain buckets, I wouldn't have the variety. So, like, because if we think about, like, how far our relationship has come, just in general, from, like, when we very first met, right? And we were so fucking toxic and everything else. Like, we'd fucking fight, and I wouldn't talk to you for days, and so on and so forth. And, to today, where, like, our arguments last, like, an hour, Like, I thought that was really interesting that Sean and Saxon, they say 8 weeks? 8 weeks or something, or 2 months.
That they've been in the space?
That they've been
4
in the
months.
space. 4 months, yeah.
Yeah, so Sean, who you mentioned earlier, we listened to one of his calls yesterday, and he had talked about how him and his wife have been in this, like, yucky, I don't know what his words were, but just, like, for, like, 4 months. And I was like, whoa, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Like, I would not be doing well if we, like, I don't do well when we're like that for, like, a day. And it doesn't even necessarily, like, last that long. But even, like, yesterday morning, like, it was just, like, contentious for a little bit.
Granted, they're obviously very more similar than we are in their situation. She's more like me and him as far as, like, a fighter and whatever else.
Yeah.
And, so, I thought, not to say that won't ever happen to us. Like, you don't fucking know. Like, you got no idea. But at this point, because it used to, it fucking did. You know?
Well, and even, again, with Sean and Zach's, like, then they haven't literally talked for, like, 8 days.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
And
to be fair, their relationship is still pretty new, too. Like,
yeah,
we weren't
for sure.
super great a year and a half into our relationship either, so...
Fuck no. No, we were garbage for probably the first, like, I'd say 3 years in our relationship. And then after that, we kind of started slowly changing and, you know, evolving.
Yeah.
So...
And even then it was hard because we were changing, and so there's all these programs and patterns that we, like, were used to engaging in.
Yeah, dude. And obviously that still happens.
Right.
So, and there's always, yeah. I mean, but the biggest part of those things is to be, aware of them. You know what I mean? Like, self-aware. You know?
Yeah.
And to a degree, aware of your partner's triggers and stuff like that.
But I think, like, because you wanted to talk about, like, relationships and that, because you said, like, we don't know if we'll be there. Like, we're in a space of, like, a long time of not getting along or whatever the issues are. And that's because everything, even relationships, like, ebb and flow.
Yeah.
Like, I have it written on our mirror, and it's more so for, like, for me, for our relationship piece, like, this too shall pass. Because when things were rough, I would, like, sit in it, and I'd feel all this, like, self-pity, and I'm like, oh my god, everything's terrible, because I have catastrophic thinking. And so when things, like, would start to go bad, I'd start to go, like, to the extreme. And then when we were working with David, he, like, brought that up, like, this too shall pass. Like, this isn't going to stay. But then he also brought to my awareness, like, even for the good times. Like, this too shall pass also. Like, because, like, just the other, I don't remember when it was, like, we were laying on the couch cuddling, and you had mentioned something about how we've been really good, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, this too shall pass. Like, and it will.
Yeah.
Because it does. And that's unrealistic to think that everything's just going to stay, like, that's not how life is.
And that's the attachment, right? And that's the clinging and, you know, trying to be attached to the good and then, like, trying to resist the bad. And you know,
like, the other day when we were, like, arguing a little bit and he said something about, but we're bad, I don't know. He said something like, we've been so good or something. And I was like, this isn't even bad. Like...
Maybe you, because your standards were low, is what I said.
Oh, yeah. But anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. Fuck.
Well, you just made this weird, like...
He's probably having a fucking seizure.
Me? You.
Me.
Oh. Anyway.
Fucking kid, man.
Where are we going with that? This too shall pass. Oh, ebbs and flows. That like
the ebbs and flows of life.
Yeah, in all the buckets, like life in general.
That was my I'm very type A. I'm like just I'm a powerful cleric.
Ooh, that's a good book. That's a good plug. Personality Plus.
Yeah, dude.
It's a good one.
Told Ken to read it not too long ago, or told him about it at least.
I'm a peaceful phlegmatic.
Yeah. So it basically means I'm awesome. That's what the book
He
says.
bears that arrogance. He's back.
Oh fuck. So anyways, I'm very type A, and I'm very controlling, you can say. I want things to go my way. Like I'm very like if they don't go fucking my way, I got a real problem with that.
According to plan.
Yeah, according to plan. So, I've got a schedule, I got a planner. Like, if you fucking make time with me, you better show up on time, and that's going to piss me off. Otherwise, we should have made a different time because you're pissing my time away. Anyways.
Or at least have communicated if we needed to change the time.
Yeah, yep. So, last year, I usually try to pick a word every year. And last year it was flow. And I didn't, so I'm learning, this is kind of going to go off base a little bit, but you know how Kevin Trudeau talks about in the CD set, you gotta care, but not that much. He talks about the guy with the cigar and blah, 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 blah. That's 100% accurate, I'm learning. Because even because I just thought about it, and I'm kind of making this connection as now. So you're fucking...
Real time.
Yeah, you're seeing it in real time. So you know how I told you were like, I forgot, what did you say? We were talking about porn yesterday, and you said something.
I asked you, because Yeah, I asked you if you still liked it or like loved it or whatever.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about somebody else probably. Still.
Yeah, I said it wasn't. It's just not the same anymore. You know, like it doesn't
You're
get
like,
me.
love, like no.
Yeah.
And then just said,
enjoy here and there. Yeah, but even then, it's just not the same. It doesn't get me, because it's a drug, right? It gets me that high. It doesn't get me that high anymore. Like it's not the same. At the end, it gets me that release to a degree, but it's not the same like mental like ding 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 in my fucking brain.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, and then I also said after that, I just can't put pressure on it. Like if I were to, you know, and that's the thing that really helped is like I kind of let loose on the pressure. I think you stopped putting pressure on it as well, which obviously helped. But then I stopped putting pressure on it as well. So
yeah, because you brought that up as far as like for people wanting to change things.
Yeah.
Or, like wanting to drop habits or whatever.
Yeah, you gotta care, but you can't care that much. Because otherwise, if you put too much pressure on it, you're gonna be like, oh, I can't do this, or oh, I fucked up, or you know, whatever else.
You're like making it this like.
Yeah, you're holding it on this like pedestal almost.
It's like a forbidden fruit kind of thing. Like, ooh, I'm not supposed to, and because I'm not supposed to, like that makes me want to do it more.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, we'll go with pedestal. Cross out.
Yeah.
Forbidden fruit.
So last year was flow, and again, that's the reason I brought that up is because last year, which was a great word for me, and I feel like, you know, like always because I'm type A, right? Because I feel like I didn't put enough effort into it, you know, like I should have put more effort into it. Like for instance, when you were took the trees, the lights down the one day last year for the Christmas tree and stuff, and you're like, oh, I want to enjoy it one more. I'm like, I gotta enjoy it as much as I can. I'm just like, take it all in. You know what I mean? And that's just how I am.
The forced.
Yeah. So that's how I am, and so you know, whether I did or did not put enough effort in there, I'll never know. I got no fucking clue. So I feel like I didn't, but I also feel like it worked out because last year was a relatively good year for me as far as like not being so attached or not being so triggered by just things and stuff.
Yeah,
and
by letting things.
Yeah, just let them go as they are. Oh, this guy's gonna be late. Okay, no big deal. Like, okay, it's supposed to be that way. And just letting it flow, letting it, you know, keep going like that. And obviously, you have to have a fine balance. Like, there, you know, you have to draw a line in the sand and be like, okay, you know, this is where the buck stops here. So this year, I feel like I'm going a whole big ass loop to get back to where I'm at. This year is perspective, and I'm like, fuck, dude. I should have picked this word. Fuck this word. I'm like, fucking A. And so, like, I honestly haven't been thinking about the word a lot, but, like, perspective has definitely, like, hit me in the fucking mouth this year. Like, I don't know. I probably do know why. It's probably because, like, God wants me to fucking see a new perspective. But that was the word that I was led to. Like, I didn't even want to pick the word. I was just like, you know, I wanted to pick intention or something. I think I wanted to pick intention. And I was like, and then perspective kept popping up in these books that I was reading. And I'm like, bro, perspective's it. I'm like, perspective's supposed to be the word.
See, the universe is talking.
Well, yeah, exactly, right? And so I chose perspective, and here we are with perspective. And this is probably, I'm not saying this is the best our relationship has ever been, right? Because I don't think it, you know, we've never hit that high again. You know, we're probably at a level, I'd say we're at a level 8 if we've hit a level 10 before, you know, give or take, right? And so, but we have so I have this perspective of like, we can be here and we're here, and, you know, same thing with all the other buckets in my life, you know. So, like the one coach, Sean, has a concept of the core four, you know, passion, purpose, power, and production, you know. So you got those 4 buckets of your life, and, you know, you make little deposits every day into those buckets of your life, and so on and so forth. And yeah, so that's I need to grasp onto the flow concept that prepared me for the perception concept, you know, like I'm seeing the building blocks, you know, so I've got to care, but I can't care that much, otherwise I'm gonna fucking dig myself into a fucking, you know, hole. I'm gonna drive myself nuts. It's crazy. Like if I'd be, because I've never been in this situation, you know, I've always rode pretty high. Like the last time that I was even remotely like in this situation was when we first met. You know, when I just got kicked out and everything else, and I'm just like, what the fuck, you know. So, you know, and then since then it's been relatively, all the other buckets besides us since then have been, you know, pretty good. Like my body and my finances and, you know, everything else, like, you know, pretty good, you know. And now now I'm going into this season over here that, you know, like,
it's different.
You better fucking put in the work while you get things good, because you're about to, you know, get kicked in the balls. I like it when Mike says that. Oh, it's so funny. So yeah, what about you? I mean, what are your thoughts? Do I have all the thoughts today?
Apparently. I'm interjecting, I don't know. I think I was thinking about this earlier, and just like where we are financially and all of that, like, because for me personally, there hasn't been a lot of change except for like cutting back on like going out and buying stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just the nature of our relationship, though, because you have always taken it upon yourself to be the one to like you're a finance dude. Like, I don't pay the bills, you do. I don't like budget, you do. Like, and I know that I should probably be more involved in that, but at this point, like, I haven't, and that's just how it goes. And so I know that like you in and of yourself just like take more of that role, and I'm okay with that. And so you, when things like this happen, feel more of that responsibility. Because for me, like, again, aside from like those little changes, like nothing's really changed that much. And I'm also much more of like a peaceful phlegmatic. Like, I don't know.
That can bite you in the ass too, though. I know you.
Oh, for sure.
I know you like to play that off as like the.
It's good for me in these situations because I'm not all wound up, but it also can lead me to not take action.
Correct.
I'm aware.
I'm just saying. I'm just clarifying.
So I don't feel the heaviness of all like the differences right now that you do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and our lifestyle really hasn't changed besides just not buying whatever we want. Like, that's, you know, to a degree, obviously, because, you know, what if I wanted a yacht or a jet or, you know, like something big? Like, obviously, I'm not to that level yet. But, like, this is the preparation for it.
And I also, like, truly believe, like, the things that, like, when everything happens for us. Like, I truly believe that. Like, yeah, the things suck, but, like, I totally 100% believe in, like, divine timing, and, like, wouldn't be happening to us if it wasn't supposed to.
I can understand that, but I can't embody that.
But, and that's what I wonder, too, because, like, I wonder if it's easy for me to say that and say I 100% believe in it when I'm not feeling the heaviness of the thing.
Yeah.
Like, if there was something else that, like, happened that, like, left me feeling really neutral, or for me, I mean, I'd probably go, you might not get low, but I probably would. Like, would it be as easy for me to sit here and say I 100% believe in that? I don't know.
I'd say probably not, personally. That's just my thought. But I could be wrong.
I also haven't had any, like, personal kick to the balls.
Yeah.
Like, we've had kick to the balls for things that involve me, because I'm in a relationship with you and we have a life together, but, like, not from my personal decisions.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
But that also, like, the other end of that peaceful phlegmatic side, that could be because I'm not taking big risks like you. Like, you're an entrepreneur, so, like, that is the nature of the game. Like, shit's gonna happen.
Oh, 100%.
Or I have, like, my job, and it's cushy, and, like, I'm not out there doing extra and doing more, and, like, so I'm inherently gonna have less kick to the balls.
Yeah. You're not putting your neck out on the line, for sure. I'm putting my fucking balls in the chop block pretty much every time I do something, and I'm like, well...
They just keep kicking them.
Yeah. As of recently. It's just the season of life, and sometimes this happens. Like, you know, when people say it rains, it pours. I think I'd rather have it all happen at once. Fuck it.
True that.
Get it all out at once. Just kick me in the fucking balls 3 times. They're already sore. I'll fucking get it done and over with, and then I'll fucking power through, move on, and walk like a champ. You know, I think that's...
For a while.
Yeah. Until the next kick in the balls.
So the next few come around.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel that, though.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I've just been fucking irritated and everything else and whatever else with the whole, like, just in life, you know, but I have to accept it. I have to care, but I can't care that much, you know? I'm like, maybe I should talk to Mike about this, because, like, I'm sure he's gotten plenty of kicks in the balls.
Yeah, he'll probably just be like, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'll say, but it'll be funny and it'll be a one-liner and it'll be so legit.
Probably.
What's the worst thing that you can do? Start over?
Yeah.
That's probably what I'll say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, like, yeah. That is worst case scenario, and that isn't really that bad.
Yeah.
It's bad for the mind in you, but...
Yeah, I think my fucking ego is just kind of bruised right now, so... And we're totally off topic at this point, but makes for a good conversation.
I mean, flow in general. I know you wanted to focus on relationships, but I think flow.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so we're flowing pretty good between us. Like, our flow is good. My work flow is fucking trash. My fitness flow is normally good. I think we just been a couple days. Like, I haven't been in the gym in a few days, but it's just like because of how it's worked out and everything else.
And it's really abnormal for us to go 3 days without being in the gym.
So I think I'll still say that's fine. The gym flow is fine. So, and then I still need to work on my purpose flow. I think I've got fucking issues with my purpose and production, which is purpose is spirituality, but they're closely intertwined in my personal opinion. So, you know what I mean? Because, like, if you think about just purpose in general, like, what's your purpose? And, you know, people, like, have a purpose and they do that for a career or job or whatever else, you know? So.
If you don't have a purpose, your purpose is finding your purpose.
True that.
Jesse Elder says.
Yeah, dude, I like that guy. He has a couple videos on there that I need to watch because I saw that he posted not too long ago, and then I just wasn't able to watch them yet. But yeah, so I guess what we're trying to say here is, if you're getting kicked in the balls, it's okay. Like, sometimes, like, things aren't gonna go your way, and things also, and because of that, other things might get better, you know, so.
And the things that are rough are a lot easier when you do flow through them. Like, when you don't have all the... And it's natural to still have resistance, but if you're not just all straight up resistance, and if you're just trying to, like, fight all these changes and fight the things that are happening, like, they're happening. So for you to be able to, like, flow through them with as much ease as possible is just going to be helpful for you and those around you.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, I don't know. Perfect came to mind, and, like, obviously we're not, so, like...
Fuck yeah, we never will be.
That's not the point, but just to flow with it as best as you can.
I wonder what people think when we do these videos. I wonder if people think, like, oh, look at them, blah, 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 they think they're fucking perfect, or if, like, we're just, like, sharing our process.
I think it's that. From the feedback
so?
that I've gotten so far, it's been that.
Gotcha.
It is never... We invite comments and all the things, and nobody has anything to say, but anybody that's ever reached out to me, it's always been, like, that part. Like, thank you for sharing. Like, it's never been...
Yeah.
Which I'm open to. We have been open to, if there is somebody who thinks otherwise.
Yeah.
But...
We just don't have that many haters yet, because we're just not big.
I know, it's funny when Ben was like, oh, good, you said my name on the podcast, so when this thing blows up... Yeah. Flow. In all the areas. And, oh yeah, where I was going at, too, is I think, like, you've been doing, as much as that was, like, last year's word, I think the intention and the time that you put in with flow last year is definitely, like, just because last year ended and you chose a new word, like, didn't mean flow was just over, because you had so much practice last year with it that I think it's just part of you now.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about, like, the year before.
Still got a long ways to go, though.
Yeah, but you flow way more than you used to.
Yeah, like in 2020? Yeah.
Which that's a hard year to, like, think about, because that was shut down and Xander and.
Xander was the only stressful part. Like, I liked the shutdown. Like,
Oh yeah, I know, but it was just still different. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't a normal.
Yeah, for sure.
Quote unquote year.
Yeah, for sure, I agree.
But even, I mean, we talked about that too. Like when we had Xander, like that was another. And that's where I think what comes to mind for this situation is like we were a team when we had him because
I
like, we
thought
clearly
the same thing.
needed to be. And so like right now, like things are rough or whatever, but like we need to be a team. We need to be on the same page.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something really fucking off the wall right now.
Okay.
Your parents can thank me later.
La 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 la. Good grief.
Oh shit. Yeah. Anyways, that's about it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
We out, bitch.
I think it was a good conversation. We definitely had like a topic in mind, but
Yeah.
it's hard when to like just stick to one aspect of flow and like.
It's hard to stick to any topic one at all because it all fucking flows and
Yeah.
jives and all of it. Yeah. Yeah, I know. So, I think one of the biggest things you probably take away with, well, that I personally am going to take away with this conversation, fuck if I could talk, is that you gotta care but not that much. Like, I've listened to that probably a dozen times, probably at this point. Or I've thought about it probably hundreds of times.
Your wish is your command, by the way.
Yeah.
By Kevin Trudeau.
Yeah. And I need to go back through and listen to that, but that, like, kind of just like, I'm looking at life, so I'm like taking a step back from a perspective per se, the third person, instead of being here, because there's different levels of consciousness and there's different levels of perspective, you know, so looking at that, being able to look at these different situations, right, and kind of not, instead of being in them and living in them now, and now I'm here and I'm looking back at the situations, I'm like, wow, that's how I overcame that. That's how that worked out, you know, like, and obviously when we look at, you know, in 2 years or whatever, when we look at this situation, we're like, oh wow, that fucking all worked out, blah blah blah. But right now it's fucking annoying. Right now I'm irritated, and right now I'm like, what the fuck, God? Like, why are you just fucking being a prick? But she is just giving me this opportunity to grow, and that's what I want. I want, you know, just like Sean talked about, like, you want big shit, you want a better relationship, you want whatever else, like, you want to hit the fucking next level, then you're going to have to do this, or go through this, or experience that, you know, and that's what we are currently doing, so. I'm just thankful for you and your understanding and everything else.
Welcome.
Anyways, so, getting all fucking wishy-washy over here now.
Wishy-washy?
Yeah.
Feely?
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I hate that shit.
Stop! Now you're making me wishy-washy.
Anyways, so, we should do like, no, we shouldn't, because I don't want to. I was gonna like show notes, like Jason Christoff does. Like, you know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, if you took anything from it, let us know. And if you didn't, let us know that too. Go check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and Podcast Player, which I have not been responsible for a very long time. So we're lacking on that, and I will get that done and caught up this week.
Boom.
So, yeah. So, we out. Like,
Thanks.
subscribe, ring the bell, comment, share, all that jazz. Let us know your thoughts and everything else. So, I like to know that because I know a lot of other people are going through a lot of shit right now. So it's very, as much of that I don't necessarily want them to go through the shit. It's nice to know that I'm not the only one feeling in this situation. So, yeah. So if you are, share. Make me feel better.
That's why you should share.
Alright, see you guys later.
Thanks for listening.